and release any and all thought forms, beings, situations, and energies that are no longer aligned. My highest physical, across all planes of existence, across all universes, across all lifetimes. Yes, at all energies. Good morning, Aura Shine. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Francina. Good morning. Happy weekend. And I'm just finishing up cleaning up this space. I've really changed everything in here. I do this thing, right? Hey, cultural commentator, good morning. I don't know about you, but one of the ways I clean my house is to change everything around, right? So when I sweep and clean up under everything, I just put it back differently. And I get a whole new living room. Hey, Caroline, good morning. A whole new everything. So yesterday, I am lighting this incense. Just a minute. Yesterday, I was in here and I was moving around, and I've been working with my gym chair, which I'll be working with in just a minute. But I ended up changing just so many things around as I was cleaning because I had the technical difficulties yesterday morning, which didn't get resolved because as I was coming in here for tonight, for this morning, uh, none of the stuff that we put together yesterday worked. So I had to go back to all my old stuff real quick, all of my, the tripod that I was using broke. God, these things have built-in obsolescence, don't they? They just last. Good morning, positive ninja. That is so cute. But just so everything just seems to be breaking at the same time. I bought them all at the same time, and just the plastic is. So you want to know that about these things that you buy, and I'm going to be very truthful when I do report on them, and when I'm telling the people, because I do a lot of affiliates now, and so when I report, I'm going to tell them, that I know they want you to buy more, and I understand why built-in obsolescence is in there. It's in your automobiles, it's in your homes, it's in everything. Because if it worked forever, they wouldn't make any money, right? So this, they build it in so that it, like cars, 5,000 miles. You ever notice that? Right? 5,000 miles, it could be brand new. Everything goes clunk at 5,000 miles. And they figure you drive, 5 to 600 miles a day, a week. Let's see, is it 5 to 600 miles a month, right, for your car? And so they give you 500 miles, the first warranty, when you get a new car. And then 60,000 miles, you're supposed to, all of the insurance changes at 60,000 miles. And it's built-in obsolescence because what seems to happen is at right around 5,500 miles, everything in your car starts to go clunk, right? Starts to go down the road. So it's that way with this electronic equipment. It seems like it just kind of disintegrates as you use it. Yesterday morning, as I was turning the camera on, the phone holder, right? It just went clunk onto the floor and broke. As I was using another one that I have just this morning, same thing happened. Whole top of it came off and I couldn't use it. I have a makeshift one in there right now. So you have to be very careful of it all. And so I just kind of makeshift that. You should see what it is. It's awfully cute. It's one of those phone holder hands, you buy to set up if you've got it on a table. And I took the holder that broke, put it behind it, and it's holding the phone in place in my ring light. So, but I did change some other things around for you. And that chair, Jim, is so wonderful. I am I'm promoting it more. Before I didn't use it very much because I didn't have it set up. I'd have to set it up and put it down. But it is wonderful for you to use, and especially right now, when you can't get to the gym as much, it's still not safe to be out as much as it was before COVID. There's still a lot here in Denver. We have the PM 2.5 coming from Canada still, and it's still in the air. It's still affecting our breathing, the air quality here, and you can see it. It's hazy outside. And I know in Canada it's all coming south, right? So they're not experiencing it quite as much as we are here in the United States. But in the United States, we've got it all the way down to Georgia and Texas and Denver. I live in Aurora, which is a suburb of Denver. Denver is considered to be the worst in the world. I can't even understand that. Yes, they are. And then look at, please send water. Okay, this is how you pray. And this is how I was taught to pray. And I did have a wonderful, he was a warrior and an Indian chief. It's been so long ago, but he showed me how to pray for rain. And he was a Native American that we sent for, like he would do dowsing and that kind of thing. And all you do is honor and surrender to God and visualize rain in as many ways as you can in the area that you want. Okay, so you need to have some idea of what the globe looks like, but visualize rain in as many ways as you can. What does it smell like? Bring your physical senses, your spiritual senses alive, and become aware of what it feels like and what it's going to be putting the fire out. You know what it smells like when water hits something, right? If you've ever felt water when you put it on, I burn a lot of stuff, so like plastic or something when it's burning. For Hawaii, right, there's lava coming down the mountain, and the damage is devastating. The destruction is devastating, and there are people who are saying it's the Lemurians aiming at um, at Hawaii, right? But it, it's God allowed. It's the earth. The earth will not allow you to destroy it. I don't understand why man doesn't understand that. He's so intelligent, right? He's so intelligent, so arrogant. He doesn't understand that extinction is the rule. Self-preservation is the first law of all nature. Do you think this beautiful earth, which is a living, breathing entity, will allow us parasites to destroy it? Not. It's not going to happen. And man will go the way of the dinosaur if he doesn't get himself together and honor his mother, the earth, and his father, the spirit. That's what we are to honor. You call no man on earth, this is what the Bible says, call no earthly man your father. So that's your daddy, right? That is your daddy on earth. I had a daddy, and I understood from the beginning, call no earthly man your father, because it is the Father within the Father, as Christ told us, the Father in heaven, and you create your heaven and hell by the words of your mouth and the meditations of your heart. And the kingdom of heaven is at hand, right here. You make it with how you behave, how you act, how you treat people. And you can also create heaven on earth by the way you think, act, and how you treat people. Simple as that. However, look at what's happening in the world today. And so it's no wonder the earth is rising up to protect itself. Self-love, number one. And the earth is a living, breathing entity, complete with chakras. Have you ever seen a list? Look up the earth's chakras, and you'll see that it fits the lemniscate. One of the chakra points is in Loma Linda, California. We only have one here in the United States. Another one is, I remember, the last one is in Egypt, and Cairo, I think, in Egypt, and I think that's. Let me get it straight. I'm on the phone, so it's in my phone, but I think Cairo is the crown chakra, as opposed to the root chakra. It could be the root chakra. It's the end, whichever one, it's either going or coming. But at any rate, there are chakras on the earth, and the earth is out of balance right now. It is. If you look at the chakra centers on the earth, you will see that there is blockage everywhere, especially blockage in the root chakra. This weekend we are in we are in Kundalini today, and we are in Muladhara on Sunday, I think, and Muladhara on Monday. So yeah, that's right, in Muladhara. So things I wanted to talk to you about today, Maharishi effect. I talk about it all the time, and Maharishi effect is a study that was done. The first time they noticed it was in 1974, but it appeared in a paper published in India in 1976. However, it came from all the way back to 1960, when Maharishi Mahesh Yogi predicted that 1% of the practicing population could practicing transcendental meditation, which is one I went through. I forget about all this stuff. Years ago, I went through TM, would produce measurable improvements in the quality of life for the whole population. 1% is all that is needed. And this phenomena was first noticed in 1974 and reported in the paper published in 1976. The finding was that 1% of a community practicing the Transcendental Meditation Program, which is essentially what we do, is people jump on the bandwagon and then they create their own and put their own name on it. Especially here in the United States, we're guilty of that, mostly because of the ego. But coming in, there's so many programs that have adopted the Transcendental Meditation strategy and protocol, and name it something else. However, at that time, the crime rate in 1976 was reduced 16% on average, simply by people practicing transcendental meditation, going in, connecting with the higher source within, and making peace with themselves. So let's see. At this time, the phenomena, that's when they named it the Maharishi effect in 1976. So the meaning of this term was later extended to cover the influence generated by the group that practicing, once again, the Transcendental Meditation, the City program. So generally, the Maharishi effect can be defined as the influence of coherence and positivity in the social and natural environment generated by the practice of meditation. Maharishi introduced the TM City program, including yogic flying, in 1976. Group practice of this program was observed to be beneficial for the entire world. On the basis of analogies to physical systems, scientists estimated that the coherence generated by group practice of the Transcendental Meditation Program should be proportional to the square of the number of participants. So here we come with the math. So thank you, Kokita. Thank you. You became the 99th member of the team. So thank you. So I do have, right now, I do have a goal today. So at least one. And I will begin giving away gifts. I have so many more for when I hit my goal, right? When I hit the goal for the day. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will give away some, because I have so much to give away, so much to share, and I got to find a way to get it to you guys. I am a resource entity, and I decided to use all of my training and my years of study to vet what's out there, because there's a lot of scamming going on in this industry, in the diet industry. Diets don't work, you guys. If they did, right? I say diet's a four-letter word. If they did, they wouldn't keep selling them to you. You would need more, just like the built-in obsolescence in a car. If the diet worked, you wouldn't need to do it again, would you? Permanent weight loss requires lifestyle changes. Changes in the way you think, changes in the way you act, and changes in what you eat. That's all. Simple. It is so simple. It's so simple to lose weight. You know how you lose weight? You have a caloric deficit. And the way you have a caloric deficit is to burn more calories than you consume. Just math, right? If you are consuming calories, which means heat, energy, that if you are consuming it, burn it. It's energy, right? You are eating it to fuel your body, and uh, when you're hungry is going to tell you when you need more, and then you get up off of your duff and go move and burn it and do something. So many people sit and wait for life to come to them and do it. There is no one coming to save you. You're it. You are it. I saw a young man, by the way, that posted. I didn't get to post on my post, but they'll be up this weekend. But I saw this post as I was preparing, and I did shoot a bunch of posts. I didn't get them all up just yet. And what he said was, either I am God or God doesn't exist. This was a young man, okay, sorta, right? Okay, uh, because you are. You are the universe, and the universe is within you. Okay, the universe is you, but you are no more the universe than this little itty bitty pinky thing. This little itty bitty dot right here on the end is you. You are not the universe. The universe is in you. The universe is you. God is you. But you don't go together. That's ego. Ego comes in and tells you, I'm all that, right? But you're just the drop in the ocean. You are. The drop in the ocean contains all of the qualities of the full ocean. But it's important that you understand that everyone else is just as important as you. Remember, the second greatest commandment is that you love your fellow man as you love God. Because if you can't love your fellow man whom you can see, how can you say you love God whom you can see? Can't see. No man shall ever see God and live. No one. Don't let anyone tell you. I believe the Bible. I believe it because it rings true to me. I was raised that way, so maybe it's a comfort zone for me, but it rings true. As I study science, as I go through, I'm glad my mother laid that foundation, because as I go through the science and as I go through the studies, everything that was programmed into me comes into play. I'll be writing a paper, and something Christ said will come into my head as inspiration, and it surprised me as much as it did everyone else. Because, hey Dee, good morning, good morning. Because I kind of gravitated away from it a while. I went through Catholicism. I took catechism classes and got married in the Catholic Church. And then I went through Judaism. And then I studied transcendental meditation. And I also studied theosophy. And then I converted to Buddhism. Went I went to the mikveh for Judaism. But I went to the temple and got my gohanzen and chanted in the church and was very active in the church. Science of the mind. I was science of the mind. I just have to find a place that's comfortable. I've moved a lot, and so when I move to a certain area, then I find the church. I don't care what denomination it is, the group that fits me. In Bakersfield, California, which is where I owned my gym. Surprise, surprise, if you know anything about Bakersfield, where I owned my gym, I was Science of the Mind, and I taught Sunday school in Science of the Mind Church there. So it just depended on what resonated with me. Right now, Science of the Mind is kind of defunct, but if you want to check something out, it comes from H.P. Blavatsky's Christian Science, and Christian Science is so cool. Okay, it says to encourage viewers to share. Thank you, cultural commentator, for that. I need those. So thank you for that. And I just want to remind you, cultural commentator is now a moderator, and I do have another one coming on. She's and I did. LaDonna comes in from time to time. She is a moderator, and I am trying to get in touch with Jade. I miss her. She was my first moderator. So look, I am facing my fears today, right? I am wearing my arms out, okay, not covered up. Let me tell you why. I always had these skinny arms. So this is reminding me of when I was a teenager. I I was so skinny. That's one of the things they teased me about. I was so skinny until they called me skinny minnie, bony maroni, and all that. Really, they did. And my daddy would say my clothes hit my shoulders because I had these broad shoulders, and it just fell to the floor. That's how he used to tease me, that this part of my body was so tiny, but I had these broad shoulders, and um, and so I was ashamed to wear dresses that showed my arms because they were so skinny. Grand Rising Tabitha, I was just talking about you. They were my arms were so skinny, I was ashamed to wear sleeveless clothes. And I didn't for many years. I covered my arms up. And then when I was more into the fitness in my 30s and I was in the gyms and I was pumping the weights, my arms got, this right here is soft right now. I am back toning it again. All right, but it looks better because I was in the gym for all those years, you know. I was in the gym for all those years, and my muscles, I did get the beautiful muscles in the arms. But I'm coming back right now from being sick, from being ill, from being in the bed. What I am showing you, uh, thank you. What I am showing you now is the rejuvenative powers of this. None of the studies that are out there right now are going to be able to tell you the rejuvenative powers because experience is the evidence, right? And none of them are old. How can somebody young tell me how to age? Okay, somebody young has to go through it in order to experience it, and someone young needs to listen to someone old as to how we approach aging in this area. And it's really important that you honor the experiences. Don't tell an old person what they say. Don't say grave to an old person, right? Don't tell an old person that what they are saying is not true. Also, don't tell them that they don't have the benefit of their experience. They didn't study and stay there and be wise and learn to dumb down. Neuroplasticity tells us that we can learn something new. I don't care if we live to be 125 years old. Learn something new every day of our lives, every second of our lives. If we adopt, if we look at, let me see who we should look at today. Okay, because this is when I was studying. I'm looking for my friend. Okay, it's around. I'm just not going to look too hard. It is, someone did it. I wouldn't do it. Okay, but someone had already done it. I bought it at a thrift shop, so I bought it. It is the immortal jellyfish. So, how does the immortal jellyfish stay young? Right? The immortal jellyfish stays young by going back and shedding everything to those, almost what corresponds to the teenage years, synaptic pruning, getting rid of all of the stuff that's not doing you any good. That's what teenagers do. They go through what has been programmed into them by their parents and everyone else. I see it. Thank you, Uriel. Okay, and they go through what has been programmed to them, and they assess it according to the values. So they say, this is right, and I don't like that. You'll hear them saying, I'm going to be different than my mother. I'm going to change something different than my father. It didn't work with me. So that's what teenagers do, and they get rid of the stuff that doesn't work, and they keep the stuff that does. You need to go through your life like that periodically. It's an evaluation. Evaluate your life. Reflect on it. Where am I? And be honest. Don't lie to yourself. That's the number one rule, right? Don't lie to yourself. It's a fool that lies to himself. One of the things I have learned, and I'm just starting to practice as a psychologist, you guys. So one of the things I am learning right now is you can't be friends with your clients, okay? You just can't. Okay, because the way I treat my friends, I just love them so much. I just hug them, I just comfort them, I make all kinds of excuses for what they're doing. But as a psychologist, I want to be able to look you in your eyes and tell you what you are thinking or what you are doing that is wrong. If my children were to come to me for psychotherapy, I would have to recuse myself and refer them to someone else who is not connected to them. I can't counsel my own children. I can't counsel my friends. If a friend would come in, all right? And so it's very dangerous for me to set up a friendship relationship with people I'm counseling. That's something I'm learning right now because and it is really solidifying itself right now because your friends think things like they can say certain things to you and they get away with certain things, don't they? And you know who your friends are and you love them anyway, right? You love them despite the fact that occasionally they hurt you, occasionally they're demeaning, and you have those little differences. In a therapeutic relationship and in the counseling relationship, when I am trying to build that bond with the client, I cannot afford that because I can't help you. If I'm doing that, I can't help you. And so for me, it is important to separate between my friends and between those people that I am in a relationship with as far as counseling. That's where I am here. I am not on TikTok as this is not my social networking. Okay, this is a business account I have here, and I am a minister, an ordained minister, but I'm not in the church. I don't believe in organized religion. So it's important for me to separate that. Really, really important. So if you see me pulling back some, it is because I now have to step into that. I didn't in the beginning, I was just starting to practice. But one of the things I'm learning, and it's a hard lesson to learn, that's what my brother just told me because he does counseling. It's a hard lesson to learn, is that you need to separate. I cannot be friends and counsel. I can't be your mother and your friend at the same time. I will, yes, thank you. Namaste. Thank you. I cannot be a mother, right? And a friend at the same time. I want to raise my children so that they are people I want to be friends with. But I can't be their mother and their friend at the same time. A mother guides, a mother leads. And that is something I noticed. I am friends with my children now that they're adults. But growing up, I was mama. I was mama, and I was there to guide them, and I didn't BS. I was the cool mama, okay, but I didn't BS with my kids. I did not whip, and my children now bring that up to me as, in fact, I posted something the other day. I just shared it from someone else. And it was that there's one thing this next generation can teach us, is what it said. It wasn't my post, it resonated with me. That's one thing these children can teach us. Our children can teach us, it said. It can teach us why our parents whipped our butts, okay? Because they mimicked what we did, right? And so now our children are playing back to us what we did that made our parents whip us. Yes, that's how your children can teach you about you. However, your children are not your teacher, and when you look to them and saddle them with that responsibility, it's not fair to them. It isn't. Let them be kids. Let them grow up. Let them make mistakes. Let them experiment. They got to find what they love, and so they got to go out and try this and try that and try this. You guide them. You are their guardian, not the guard. Totally different. The guard stands watch at the door and keeps anyone from coming in, but the guardian gently nudges you. God is our guardian. Christ is our guardian. They allow us to make our own decisions. And that is one of the things I loved about Judaism was bas mitzvah and bar mitzvah. When you become a man, right, at your bar mitzvah, you become a man, and that's 12 years old, right? Generally, bar mitzvah is 12 years old. For girls, they decided for girls, they just added the bas mitzvah for girls because it's sweet 16. It's the same as the sweet 16. Now I am a woman. And now you get to stay home and make all these mistakes under the guardianship of your parents. I think that's so cool. I gave my children growing up had to wash their own clothes by the time they were 12. And I was in on them like white on rice, right? Hey, get your clothes up. You need to clean your clothes for this next week. I had 5 children. I could not be running behind and I worked and running behind every last one of them, um, picking up. So I had to teach them responsibility, such that when they got off on their own, although they were messy at home, they're wonderful husbands. They're wonderful fathers. They clean up. Oh, my oldest son, he is he is a neat freak, and his home is absolutely gorgeous. And to see my other sons cleaning up and sweeping and doing the dishes is refreshing because they didn't do it at home. They didn't do it before they left. I was in on them all the time. But now they're different with their kids. Their kids have chores. Their kids have to cooperate where they did not cooperate with me. Their kids have those chores. And they have said to me, Mom, you should have set boundaries, right? Well, I was away from family. I was growing up here. They were growing up either in California or in Denver. For them, we didn't move a whole lot. We moved around Denver just a few times and Southern California, but for them, uh, it it was they ended up not moving quite as much. Okay, and they ended up moving into places like. Uh, it's really important for my son to have his children now stay in one elementary school, whereas they moved a lot. They moved a lot. We moved. We lost our home, so but to the earthquake. So part of that was, settling up, moving to another state, getting displaced because of a natural disaster, and of course it happened with them. Bill was in the second grade. Curtis was in the sixth grade when it happened, and my oldest son's like 18 years older, and so for them, it was a huge change in a really big part, in a really big time in their lives. For me, it was just another change. I was 43 going on 44, and it just meant changing again. I changed so much in life. It was just another change. And it's really important that you get in there and you have them accept responsibilities, learn to stand on their own 2 feet, and learn to make choices. Now, that was one thing for me that I noticed at 21. I did not know how to make choices. My mother had made them for me. And so I always expected her to make them, such that when I got off on my own, it was hard to make choices. Now, these new children, our younger children, have more choices. We didn't have that many. We didn't have as many as these children have right now. So it's really important for us to teach our children how to come back in and to focus on what they want as opposed to what they don't want, choices, preferences, what feels good to them, and to explore. And it's up to you to be the guardian